This is the biggest innovation and the biggest release that we have ever done in the last several years. One of the things when I present this slide, and some of you might have seen me present this slide, is that most of us not only have seen the movie, but we have been in this movie. So the first e-commerce transactions, started 30 years ago. And from there on, we have gone from mobile commerce, social commerce to agentic commerce. That doesn't mean mobile and social are no longer relevant. In fact, they are equally or more relevant. So is unified commerce. Consumers are back in stores, by the way. My kids, they love stores. They love coming out of a store, holding all these bags, the shopping bags. So you definitely want to make sure you benefit from your physical stores. Now, the agentic story is even more dramatic in a good way. What you saw in the 30 years, the progress we made, I felt on the agentic side, the progress is in 18 months. Everything is becoming agentic. And this is critical aspect on how we think about agentic. We think about agentic in two avenues. Agentic commerce on your owned and operated property. That's your website, your mobile app, your physical stores, your call center. These are the properties that you own. And then agentic commerce also happens on syndicated channels, channels that you don't own. Gemini, ChatGPT, Anthropic, TikTok. Both are important, but they are very different channels, as we all know. Sometimes in the press, agentic commerce only means commerce on ChatGPT. And like 9 months ago, remember, commerce on ChatGPT was going to solve all world problems. And then a month ago, ChatGPT says, not that interesting. So it's just much more broader than one company deciding where the commerce will go. Commerce is just fundamental. It's been around for centuries, right? And we have been doing commerce in different channels, whether it's wholesale or owned and operated. And what we are trying to do here at Salesforce is give you the platform and the tools to power commerce on both channels. Now, most of the coverage on media is agentic commerce on ChatGPT and Gemini. Nothing wrong with it. I think it's healthy. Absolutely, the referral traffic is going to come from Gemini and ChatGPT because what was the search referral traffic? And I was at Google for many years. I was leading the shopping team there back in 2006, and I saw at least few faces who remember me from the Google days. And so that traffic, which was coming from Google Shopping, will slowly come from Gemini now. So it's going to transition from a referral traffic perspective. Commerce itself, I think it's going to take a gradual step. It's not going to be overnight that you're going to see a huge volume of commerce coming from outside your owned and operated channels. So you need to invest in your owned and operated channels. I think we are the only e-commerce platform. We are the only e-commerce platform which has a shopper agent that powers agentic experience on your owned and operated property. If I told you 10 years ago, whether do you need search on your website or not, everybody would say absolutely. So if you don't have a shopper agent on your website, on your mobile app, on your POS, as of this Monday morning, you're already behind. And I mean it. This is really important. If you don't have a shopper agent, which is the agentic experience on your website, on your mobile app, you're already behind. And we are the only e-commerce platform that has a shopper agent to power your own property. We absolutely also are leading the initiative with UCP on Google, right? We think it's important, but that's not the full story. Because, I was reading one of our competitors' press and everything they've done in the 18 months. It's all around ChatGPT. And a month ago, ChatGPT is like, it's not going to work. And I'm like, okay, if that's all you did for 18 months, and now this whole channel is irrelevant, well, you missed the boat. While we were working on both the channels, we didn't pick the winners because it's hard to pick the winners when the innovation is happening so fast. Now, a lot of people ask me saying, are consumers really going to do this full conversation? The answer is absolutely yes. The mouse clicks, by the way, are only 30 years old. So, consumers clicking on mouses and touchscreens, that's a younger thing. We have been conversing as a society for centuries. So conversation is the most natural way for humans to interact. There's no training required. There's zero training required to converse. And the proof is in the pudding. ChatGPT and Gemini, in less than 18 months, have 1 billion monthly active users. And that's not a joke. Even when I was at Google, 100 million active users was a big deal. 1 billion is a whole different class, and that too in 18 months, just in 18 months. So this is definitely the absolute way consumers are going to interact on your website to find products and to do a checkout. So if you don't have a shopper agent, as of this Monday morning, you're already behind. And this is your chance to lead and not be the laggard. You have the ability, being a Commerce Cloud customer, to have this shopper agent live in your website in the next 4 to 6 weeks, much before the shopping season. Don't go to this shopping season without a shopper agent. I'm telling you, you will thank me that you came to this session and you followed this thing. And we have a team which will help you kind of go through that transition. We have built all the tools as well as the integration that's required, along with the Simulate acquisition, which we'll have the Simulate founder, John, here at the stage pretty soon talk about it. I'm going to pick up some speed. I do want to bring Jacob, who's the CTO at Loveka here, because I want to kind of really hear from Jacob. But one thing which I said in the previous slide, while Agentic is the current, it's not even future, it's today's technology, you need it. You still need the foundation for mobile and unified commerce. If you cannot do buy online, pick up in store, or buy online, return in store seamlessly, you're missing out. So that portion of the movie doesn't go away. It's not like, okay, Agentic came in, let's just skip the unified commerce. You still need these 3 pieces to deliver the unified commerce. As I said, this is by far our biggest release in the last 5 years. Shopper agent, which I'm going to kind of keep reminding you guys, get a shopper agent live before this shopping season. You're going to miss out if you don't have it. There's going to be a lot of action, a lot of commerce that will happen on Agentic side, and this is foundational. We also launched Storefront Next, which is a complete redesign on a front-end experience, fully integrated with Claude, and making it much more seamless to iterate and code on it. We acquired Simulate. That's one of the best e-commerce search engines in the market today, and now it's available to our commerce customers. POS product, which is one of our really mature products. If you go to any Crate and Barrel store, CB2 store, Under Armour store, Nintendo store, Hoka store, UGG store, Loveka store, all these customers are powered on Salesforce point of sale. Now we are also, it was running on Apple devices, now it will also run on Android, and later the year on Windows. So huge progress there. And on the B2B side, we are powering the entire headless experience so you can customize the front end, but still benefit from our core B2B offering. I already talked about Storefront Next. This is by far our biggest investment in rethinking what a front-end experience looks like. It's fully integrated with Claude. We have several partners, I'm sure, in this room. They've been already adopting this technology, and they are implementing it. We also have redesigned our business manager. So you can now have complete visual merchandising integrated with the flow, as well as able to do boost and bury and all the different rules. Even I was surprised when I took on this role. Everybody knows we power so many retail companies in the world. What I didn't realize, we also power consumer goods, media and technology, manufacturing and automotive, especially on the B2B side, health and life sciences, as well as grocery. We perhaps have the biggest implementation of grocery in the world. This is the breadth of customers that we have on our commerce platform today, and it's growing. So with that, let me invite Jacob Pat, the CTO of Loveka, to the stage. Thanks, Jacob, for joining me. It's a pleasure having you here. Jacob, maybe introduce yourself. You have the most elaborative background, all the way from Canada Goose. So give us a little bit background about you.
So I'm a retailer through and through, 20 plus years in retail in a variety of different roles, but primarily working for high growth brands. So building brands from the ground up to helping brands re-architect, restructure, modernize. My passion, ultimately, I guess every time I try to leave retail, I get pulled back into it. So I'm here.
Thanks, Jacob. Jacob, you Lovesec, by the way. How many people know Lovesec? The marketing team is doing a really good job, Jacob.
That's awesome.
Lovesec is such an amazing brand. Uh, you have one of the most loyal customer base, as you can see here. When you think about the next decade of commerce, what role technology plays, and how are you thinking about evolving your commerce experience?
So, one of the most interesting things about the brand is it's a considered purchase. Most people don't one day wake up and say, I'm going to go buy a new couch. So there's a lot of research, there is a lot of relationship building, there's a lot of back and forth across multiple channels. So today with LLMs and AI, that customer who's coming to our stores is more informed than ever. So they've got a very different perspective. They've done the research, the homework, and they've got this AI on their phone as they're coming in and saying, help me understand this. And a lot of times it may be real information, it may be fake information, but that's the starting block for us. So when we think about kind of tech for us, it's almost like, how do we allow our associates to truly engage with the right tools at the right time? And in each of those steps in the journey, give them the right amount of information. Because before, every retailer was trying to build omni-channel, and that was before LLMs. Today, it's omni intelligence, and really is trying to get into the perspective where we're giving them the right context at the right time so that they're not having to look for it.
Jacob, ballpark, how many stores do you have, physical stores?
We have about just north of 300 stores in the US.
That's phenomenal. 300 home furnishing stores. It's a pretty complex machinery to run. Home furnishing is a complex vertical. It's much easier to buy a pair of shoes than a $7,000 sectional sofa with your sound system around it. And now you deployed PredictSpring point of sale. You were the early adopters.
We were.
What's the biggest kind of change or benefit you see after you went from a legacy POS to a modern POS?
I think the biggest thing that people don't realize, just the experience in the store. It's very difficult to try to talk to somebody and help them understand all the benefits of the products you're buying, especially when it's a considered purchase that's north of a large considered purchase. And because of that, not having the right POS system means that they're jumping between systems, focusing on the tech than on the consumer. So the POS has considerably changed how much time we get to face with the customer versus actually looking at the tech and trying to figure out things. So a lot of the benefits for us is, the onboarding is super simple. For somebody to sell something as complex as our product, the tech is the easiest part of it. Learning the product is the next, but then this also allows our associates to focus on the selling ceremony versus on the tech ceremony. Because, in today's day and age, if you're focused on which system to go into, where to get stuff, you've already lost the customer.
Jacob, one last question. You being a CIO for 30 years, from Canada Goose taking it to IPO, and now here, if there's one last advice you'll give it to the audience, could be anything, what would you give?
I think we severely are underestimating the power of our customer that's walking into the store. And I think the way I would encourage anyone here who is supporting retail is actually to go spend a day in your stores and understand your customer. Because you'd be very surprised at what level of knowledge that customer is walking into the store in today versus 12 months ago. And if you you said, buy a shopper agent, get all of these things. If you're missing those points and you're not able to stitch all that data together to create that contextual experience, you will lose in the next year. And unfortunately, that's the speed that technology is evolving us at.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for Jacob. Thank you so much, Jacob. With that, I'm going to invite John Andrews, who was founder and CEO of Simulate. He's based in Boston, and I thought let's hear from John directly.
Thank you, Nitin. I appreciate that. As Nitin mentioned, John Andrews, I'm the former co-founder and CEO of Simulate, now VP of Product, focused on Agentic Commerce here in Salesforce Commerce Cloud. Okay. I want to start off where Nitin started off, right? And that's actually talking about the future of agentic commerce. I don't think anybody's going to argue with the fact, and if anybody who's been paying attention understands, and all of you are paying attention because you're here today, you're here in Chicago this week, that the future of commerce is agentic, okay? And being able to deliver an experience that understands what the customer is looking for, and being able to do that in the voice of the customer is critical. Owning the agent that you have on your website, that you own and manage, that is Shopper Agent. And it has at the core of it product discovery and conversion as first-class objectives. It's going to drive that overall experience. And so let me talk about what we're actually delivering with this release. As Nitin mentioned, this is the biggest release that we've had from a Shopper Agent perspective within the overall release within the last 5 years. First thing it delivers, accelerating the product discovery with intelligent intent-aware search. This is near and dear to my heart. You cannot have a Shopper Agent experience that does not have at the core of it product discovery and AI-driven search that understands what the customer is looking for. If you don't have that, you just have a sweet talking assistant that knows nothing about your products. You need that intent-aware search. Second thing it does is it grows cart size with instant answers to FAQs. You need to be where the customer is at the moment that they're making that decision and where they have questions. And we're going to talk about how we see this on product detail pages. And then finally, you're going to increase shopper conversions with frictionless conversational shopping, from browse and product discovery all the way through the shopping cart, payment, and checkout capability. Okay. Let's get into what is in this release. And I'm going to focus on the things on the left-hand side first, okay? And I'm actually going to demo some of these in a minute. First, Agentic Commerce Search. You need to have that core capability. This gets its own moment in a minute, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Embedded FAQ on PDP. It is really important to get this Shopper Agent across all the different touch points of product discovery and interaction with your customer on your website. Okay, it's not just when somebody's looking for, where's my order. It is actually helping them make those decisions. And we found, and the data shows, that getting this on PDP is critical. And then enhanced chat interface. The UX experience is moving incredibly fast with Agentic Commerce and with Shopper Agent capabilities, right? How do people want to interact with this? We're going to show you what we're doing to make this more flexible for the customer and some new, faster, slick interfaces in terms of how the customers interact. Okay, the two elements on the right, cart and checkout and SFRA. This is available today. And then order tracking for guests. Even if the customer has not created an account, they can give you their order number, and through the Shopper Agent, you're able to give them information to help them understand what's going on with their order. All right. Let's double click for a quick second on that top one and talk about Agentic Commerce Search. We have been trained for 25 years to try to guess the product title of what we're looking for and put 2 or 3 keywords, maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3, into the search box. Google has trained us to do this. ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, they are training us in a different way. As Nitin mentioned, now we have a new way to be able to use language, which we've been using for thousands of years, to be able, right, to give that intent in a more human way, and that the search capability needs to be able to understand that. And this is what we've delivered with Simulate, and this is what is at the heart of that Shopper Agent. We're delivering context-aware search and conversational experiences. We're understanding that intent, and we do this by simulating millions of shopper journeys. And just take 20 seconds on this, because this is important. We are building a custom small language model for every one of our customers. We're taking your product catalog, we're taking your behavioral and your activity data, right? And we're using that, of course, but we're supplementing that with synthetic data that we're developing by running millions of simulations. Right? We're going to ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. We've got your product catalog, and we're saying, hey, here's 5 items. Which one would this consumer buy and why? Right? And giving us 10 to 20x the amount of data. And what we're effectively doing is learning from these models that have spent hundreds of billions of dollars sucking up the entire internet to now understand, right, everything the internet knows about your products and how your customers interact with them. okay? And using that to then power search and discovery. What that leads to is the final bullet, more revenue with personalized product discovery, right? Okay, let's actually show this here, and we're going to do a demo. I'm joined by the handsome and talented Paul Olson to help us through this, and we're gonna go to Boot Barn because I'm gonna be joined by one of the executives from Boot Barn in a couple of minutes. First thing I want to do is I'm gonna show just a couple of quick search capabilities, and then we're gonna show how this powers Shopper Agent. Let's do a search on White's boots. You would probably all expect to see White boots, right? But White's is a very specific brand, and it's an important brand to Boot Barn, right? And so what we're able to do is understand that, and traditional and lexical search is not gonna do that. Of course, I can remove the S, I can say white boots, and it's gonna bring me back white boots. Now, I'm looking at these boots, there's some fancy ones here, it gives me an idea. Let me search on sparkly boots, okay? And I search on sparkly boots, and I got a lot of boots with bling, all right? Bedazzled boots, a lot of glitter, not necessarily my style, but keep in mind, these boots are not tagged with sparkly, okay? The context-aware engine understands we're multimodal, we understand what the products look like, and using the synthetic data process to build out this model to understand that. All right, I'm not gonna wear sparkly boots. I want something that's more comfortable, right? I have wonky feet. I'm gonna search for a light Western boot, okay? I've got some options here. Look pretty good. I'm not into the green. The third one on the right actually looks pretty good. Paul, let's click on that one. And now, here's where it gets interesting. Now we're gonna engage with a shopper agent, okay? If I click on that third one, it's gonna go in. And now I'm at the point of intent, okay? I'm at the point where I need to make a decision, but I have some questions I need answered. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna click on Cassidy, which is the Boot Barn shopper agent, and I'm gonna ask an initial question. Tell me the fit and comfort benefits of this boot, because this is the most important thing to me. And I'm seeing information about zero gravity technology. I'm seeing breathable mesh. I'm seeing square boot toes that give me more room in the front. This is awesome. This answers my question at the point that matters to me. Now I want to make sure I can return them. So what's your refund policy? So I put in your return policy. So when I see the return policy, it's gonna bring me back the return, 60 days. Totally fine. I'm happy with that. This gives me comfort, but I want to wear it with something, right? And so, can you help me create an outfit around these boots for Stagecoach? And now what it's doing is it's iterating through to build me an assortment of products, and it's going to show me some items that are jeans for boot cut jeans. It's going to show me some amazing shirts that would look really good with those boots, and bringing the highest, and then some hats. Show me some Western shirts, hats. I could also look at belts because I'd want a really nice belt to go along this, which would be some of the accessories, which should be awesome. Fantastic. Right now I've kind of found everything that I'm looking for, and I'm going to buy the boots. And this is where integrating in with Shopper Agent, you can take this full experience from this through checkout and actually buy kind of through the Shopper Agent experience. And just to give, these are the boots, and they look damn good. I must admit. Okay, thank you, Paul. With that, what I want to actually really quick. I talked about kind of moving things around and the dynamic elements. If you look at the top, there's a lot of information in here. We've opened it up a bit. I can bring it back down. I can move it to the left of the screen. I can move it over to the right of the screen. The customer now has control in terms of the UI, in terms of where they want to put it on the screen, in terms of what they're interacting with on the screen, but still have that shopper agent available to them. Okay, awesome. So with that, let's bring up the architect of this experience on the site and the UX experience. I want to bring up Ali Cornett. All right. Ali, first off, thank you for being here. I think they'll turn it on in a second. The first thing I want to do is embarrass Ali a little bit. Ali was promoted recently, and I would like to think the reason she was promoted is that she leaned in to search and product discovery and shopper agent capabilities. So if you want to get promoted too, like Ali, a round of applause for Ali. If you want to get promoted like Ali, you should listen to what she has to say. So Ali, Boot Barn is known for delivering a very kind of consistent brand experience and from an omni-channel perspective. How do you use the commerce technology to help kind of to fulfill that omni-channel experience and that brand? And then where does commerce maybe come up the commerce experience come up a little short that you need to continue to work on?
Yeah, I love this question because
Yeah, I'll switch with you. Oh, does it? Oh, it's because I don't have earphones on.
probably. I love that you asked this question because we work really hard on making sure the customer doesn't really think about the channel. They just experience Boot Barn. So we are seeing a lot of success in our omni-channel effort, whether a customer is shopping, browsing online, they're coming into the store to talk to a store partner, they're buying online, picking up in a store. It's all kind of because we're sharing a bunch of data amongst our platforms. So customer data, product details, promos, pricing, loyalty experiences, all of that gets shared. Where we do struggle with, I think, is bringing that store experience, the product discovery, the educational experience you get in the store, bringing it to the website. And that's because we don't have a knowledgeable Boot Barn partner assisting every visitor that comes to the website. So really, it's what Agentic Commerce Search is helping us with today, is bringing kind of a more customized point of view to our website. We also know that our customers, they usually come to us with a specific intent because we're a specialty retailer, and we've just struggled finding out what that intent is and serving up relevant results for them. And again, the Agentic Commerce Search solution is doing a great job of helping us in the future. And I think the opportunity is just growing that technology, presenting it to customers in different ways.
Yeah, that's awesome. And related to that, you have a lot of objectives, right? Everyone in this room has a long roadmap of things that they want to do. Things are moving fast, right? How do you think about in the age of AI, right? How do you think about things like Agentic Commerce Search and what moves the needle and what gets on the roadmap and what gets executed on versus what doesn't?
Yeah, I think at Boot Barn, we definitely struggle with that as well, but we tend to just try to answer questions or objectives and solve specific problems for the company first and foremost. So is it helping customers find products faster? Is it helping our team members work and make decisions faster, and just making sure we can answer those questions with the technology? And once we do that and we find something that works, it's really easy to make the business case to scale it.
Yeah, makes total sense. As you think about the overall brand voice of Boot Barn, you guys have a great voice to your customer and kind of how you present yourself from an omni-channel experience. How do you think about how you're using AI and agents to keep consistency in that voice, kind of when you're interacting with customers online?
Yeah, I think everyone really expects us to use like kitschy terms, howdy, a lot, hey partner. We do call our store associates partners, but that being said, that's not customer facing to us. So we make sure that the knowledge is transferred over, the product knowledge. We're loading in what the store partner's training is when they first get hired. We're loading that into the agent to make sure all of that product detail gets shared and the customer's met really with something knowledgeable, something friendly that really matches the store experience as much as possible.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing your insights. Really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for that demo. That was nerve-wracking, but it went
That
well.
was nerve-wracking. Well done. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, as the new guy here, I am super excited about the roadmap overall in terms of what we're doing. I've heard from customers the best roadmap you've seen from Commerce Cloud in 5 years. With that, I'm going to introduce up one of my colleagues, Deb Dutza, who's going to go through the point of sale capability.
Hey everybody, can you hear me? Awesome. So firstly, thank you all for being here. And I want to quickly jump in. For those of you who have stores, we can all agree, right? For too long, the technology in your physical stores has been disconnected from your digital business. And this has clearly been, creating disjointed experiences, not just for your store associates, but also for your customers. And we are fundamentally changing that with Salesforce Point of Sale. Now at the heart of Commerce Cloud, we are bringing customer, order, and inventory data right into the fingertips of your store associates. So this is no longer a point of transaction, it's a point of experience. So with that, what do? We increase conversions, right? With powerful omni-channel capabilities, clienteling, endless aisle, you'll never miss a sale. Next, with our mobile form factor, highly intuitive UI, the way you use your iPhones, you don't need a manual for that. That's how we think about our point of sale, right? So we've been able to reduce training time from days to hours, so your associates can start selling from day one. And last, but very importantly, with our API-first, microservices-based, completely cloud-native architecture, host of out-of-box native integrations, and our no-code CMS, we help you move fast, right? And this is why we are trusted by world-class brands like Crate & Barrel, Janie and Jack, and Loveka, who you just heard from earlier today. And so with that, I'm excited to announce a host of new innovations that we're launching this summer, or this June, as Nitin called out, across our three primary pillars, right? We're dedicated to unifying your operations, increasing your payment reach, and kind of introducing and increasing the flexibility with our point of sale. So first, for our e-commerce and order management customers in the room, we've already delivered unified orders. Now we're actually unified orders with order management, and now we're delivering unified product catalog from your business manager. And not just that, we're releasing unification of your price books. We're releasing unification of your inventory with OCI, your shopper data, all of this across the rest of the year. Next, with increasing our payment reach, this is where we're trying to introduce more flexibility in the platform. We're building a direct integration with Auris Payment Gateway. And not just that, we're introducing advanced features like secure card not present transactions, especially for those VIP customers, as well as introducing further flexibility with a gift card SPI. So that means you can integrate directly with your gift card provider. And last but not the least, we're continuing to add further enhancements to our order fulfillment capabilities. So things like visual SLA indicators and batch picking abilities, so that your associates are going to stay on track for all of the fulfillment needs they have. I had an amazing demo for you, but I think I don't have the time. So what if I were to say that with all of these capabilities, right? Nitin mentioned we've been an iOS-only point of sale for quite some time. But what if I were to say that all of these capabilities will soon be available on any device of your choice? So this is where I'm excited to announce that this fall, our point of sale will be available on Android and Windows. Thanks to our strategic partnerships with Zebra, Elo, Google, HP, and of course, Apple, we're completely eliminating any barriers to adopting our modern point of sale. So this August, we're releasing complete in-store cash and carry for our point of sale on any device of your choice. And then by January of this next year, you'll have complete parity with iOS on the full feature footprint. Okay. So now, I always say with giving you a stellar in-store and an online experience is really half the story, right? When the customer presses the purchase button and swipes their credit card, one of our, a promise is made. And this is really where, order management solution comes into play, right? So Salesforce Order Management does three things. One, we drive service center efficiency with seamless order servicing, which means we're completely eliminating that swivel chair between system to system for cancellations and returns and discounts and things like that. Next, we increase your revenue with real-time omni-channel inventory, which means your customers across the world can display the most accurate real-time inventory they have on hand on their storefronts. Third, this is important. we are committed to delivering a trusted post-purchase experience at enterprise scale, which means you're constantly working to reduce your costs while shipping products fast. This one is important, especially as you think about, disruptions that can happen due to weather or supply chain or carrier delays. This is where the trust with your customer starts to weaken. And this is where our Salesforce order management solution truly does more than just track, right? We anticipate, we route, we act. And this is why we are trusted by world-class brands such as Saks, who saved over $1 million annually by integrating with our order servicing. And with that, I'm excited to announce our 3 incredible innovations in order management. First is our intelligent order analytics. So what I mentioned, right? Things like there could be a weather disruption or various risks to your order. With our intelligent order analytics, our retailers can now see any kind of disruptions in real time across their entire book of orders. So you will see this well before your customers do, and you can act proactively. Next, we all love Slack, right? We don't want to leave Slack. So we've now brought these order insights right into your Slack flow, so you don't have to jump out, right? You get to see these immediately and act on them proactively. And last but not the least, with our commitment to our enterprise customers who run millions of transactions, right? We have enhanced our inventory scale to support 7,000 locations. That's a 7x increase. And 250 million inventory records. That's a 5x increase in capacity. 3 pillars, 3 innovations delivered. And with that, I'd love to welcome on stage my coworker, Aaron Schubert, to talk about B2B.
Thank you, Deb. Hey, Connections. Great to see everybody. Good to see so many familiar faces in my hometown of Chicago. Now, when I started in B2B about 10 years ago, it was all about putting catalogs online. That was it. But today, we're moving forward. We're pioneering and we're leading the way of how buyers will buy in the future on B2B platforms and how you, our customers, will manage those experiences as well. Now, how are we doing that? We're doing that by first thinking about our customers, folks like Kona Services, Remarkable, who are hitting their growth and revenue goals for B2B with a simplified agentic ordering experience. We're thinking about modernizing operations to drive efficiency, helping you reduce the cost to take an order, while also accelerating your time to value by leveraging your existing investment on the Salesforce platform. We're also, maybe most importantly, thinking about being easier to do business with, one of the biggest differentiators in today's B2B market. We're doing that by helping you sell any product consistently across all channels at any scale. Siemens is a fantastic example of a customer doing this in B2B today. They've seen 90% growth in their B2B GMV through our B2B channels. Next, I'm excited to announce a couple of the innovations for B2B, just a few of the many that are coming. Multi-cart search configurations and our buyer agent, WhatsApp and SMS are new features. You'll be able to see more about those coming up on our innovation page shortly on the web. We'll jump into a quick demo for the last 2. So one of our biggest advantages is being on the Salesforce platform. Who else is on your Salesforce platform? Sales reps are. So we're going to see how our new feature with round-trip quoting can take advantage of exactly that. We're logged in today as Lauren. Lauren's going to go ahead and, while she's looking at her products, at her prices, she's actually placing a little bit of a bigger order today. So instead of just hitting add to cart, we're going to go ahead and add 100 of these and send a request for a quote. So what this is doing right now, it's creating a quote inside of Salesforce. In just a second, Lauren's going to get a confirmation page. Request you don't try this with your Salesforce AE at home customers. But that quote request is submitted, and now we're going to jump into the persona of Lauren's sales rep. Lauren's sales rep, they're logging in, they're in Sales Cloud now. They're looking at their open quotes. We're going to pick up the one Lauren just placed. And since Lauren's such an awesome and loyal customer, like we all are, we're going to go ahead and give Lauren a 5% discount. Hit save. Go ahead and approve that quote as well. And now let's jump back into the storefront experience as Lauren and see what she's going to see. If we go into her account, we'll look at her quotes. We'll see this newly approved quote. So go ahead and check that out. She has options to renegotiate or decline, but she's going to go ahead and accept this. She likes the price that's different. When she hits accept and buy, we're now going to add this product to the cart, but we're going to lock the quantity and the price. This allows Lauren to add additional products to her cart that at her already contracted prices and proceed to checkout with that quoted line item in there as well. Just one example of how we're able to leverage the power of the Salesforce platform to seamlessly hand off between sales reps and buyers, increasing sales rep efficiency and making it easier than ever for buyers to do business with you as well. Next, I'm very excited to talk and announce our headless reference app, architecture, and storefront. This is innovation where we are leading the way in how B2B storefronts should be built moving forward in the headless space. You can see here our documentation, also some of the tools that we've placed in GitHub, along with our brand new reference app as well. The combination of these things allow you to confidently, of course, build your own headless sites, but also we have an additional persona here, Agentic AI coding tools as well. Let's take a look at what that looks like. We just saw a home page on there. Not sure if you caught it, but there was a banner. The banner only had one image on it. What we're doing now is we're leveraging Claude Code. Claude Code's taking that reference app, plus the GitHub repo and our documentation, and we've asked it to build us a new carousel component for multiple images. Claude Code's gone ahead and done that for us. We're now going ahead and we're going to deploy that component, and those pictures are going to rotate every 4 seconds or so. We go back to the store, we hit refresh, and just like that, in a couple minutes using Claude Code, we have a brand new carousel component on the storefront. How awesome is that? This is just one example of we at Commerce Cloud are really leaning into the latest technology and leaning in to accelerate time to value for you all as well. Now with that, I know Nitin mentioned most innovation in 5 years. This is just a sliver of the innovation that we've delivered across all of Commerce Cloud.